Radio is the legend, the OG in the game, Enson Inoue. What's going on?
Nothing much. That introduction made me feel like I was dead.
Really? I'm sorry about that.
What's up, man?
It's the morning, man. Are you a morning person? Do you get up early?
Yeah, I get up early.
Oh, really? Have you always been like that?
Yeah. The thing is about that is a lot of times if you're a morning person, you're like not a night person, but I'm also a night person.
Yeah.
So,
So not much sleep going on there then.
yeah, I go to sleep late. I can stay up late, and then I get up early for some reason.
I guess that's just like your circadian rhythm. I think that's what they call it, right? Yeah.
I don't require much sleep, I guess. Yeah.
Well, that's a good thing. Then you could get a lot more done than most people.
Yeah, but a lot of those, those stuffs where they have these tests on life expectancy and stuff.
Yeah.
That's one of the things, it's like if you sleep under 6 hours or you sleep under 5 hours, you got to minus years on your life. So I'm like, oh shit,
You
start
better
sleeping more.
get some naps in.
Yeah, I think so, man. Actually, I do get naps. I think that's why I get up so easy. And then during the day, if I have the time, I could actually take a nap, a couple of hour nap, super easy.
You've been in Japan for 28 years. Now, you were born in Hawaii. You grew up in Hawaii.
Yeah.
Did you grow up anywhere else except for Hawaii?
No, yeah, just Hawaii. I moved to Texas for a year, and then that's it. Then the next move was here, and 28 years later, I'm still here.
Why did you go to Texas for a year before you went to Japan?
Before we played racquetball, our sport was before I fought, my sport was racquetball.
Mm-hmm.
So I actually went to Texas to be closer to the pro tour.
Whoa.
Yeah, because from Hawaii, everywhere you go is a long distance trip. Yeah.
Yeah.
But if you're in Texas, I figured if I'm in Texas, in the middle of the United States, I could travel to Kansas City or Michigan. I could travel to Arizona to hit pro tournaments. Yeah.
So you were pro at a young age in racquetball?
Yeah, I turned pro, but sounds pretty cool, but it's actually not as cool as it sounds. Being a professional racquetball player just means you enter the pro events,
Yeah.
I was even the best ranking I got was I was ranked 28 in the world, but that still isn't really sounding. It's not as good as it sounds, like 28 in the world. Whoa, it's almost like being like 500 something in tennis in the world.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it's not like it's super good, but it's pretty good, but it's not like something to like have on a resume and brag about, but
Yeah, I didn't know that about you. Have you ever talked about that before?
Not really. Most of because my fame came from fighting. Yeah, if anything, Egan was a 2-time world champion racquetball, so his big thing is also racquetball. But for me, it wasn't really that big a thing. I was always in Egan's shadow, so most of the times when we talk about stuff, it's about fighting. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's good to know something different about you, right?
Yeah, cool.
Interested.
Yeah.
Now, so you go to Japan, you're there for 28 years. You've been through so much in that time. And
Yes.
now you're like an elder statesman. I know you don't like to say that, but you are, right? You're an OG.
Yeah.
Now, you look at Japan and the mixed martial arts that's going on right now. Do you consider that a rebirth?
Yes. Oh, yeah, for sure. Because all the problems Pride had, it really, not only did it disappear from the as far as popularity wise of fighting, popularity of fighting kind of went down. It became like almost like a thing that you wouldn't want to really be a part of or talk about because of the Yakuza involvement that was revealed to everybody. So it really was a sport that was almost like a black sport for a while. And for it coming back with RIZIN and the UFC coming to Japan, it becomes actually like a rebirth. Yeah, like I never thought of it that way, but now that you mention it, yeah, that's probably a good explanation of how Japanese MMA is coming up right now.
So was the Yakuza involved in like just Pride, or was it intertwined with all the promotions that was going on in Japan?
The Yakuza's involved in everything in Japan. That's the thing about it. Everyone knows that. Big companies, big sports things, they're all involved. The Shooto, the deep field, and it was made public. And there was a little problem about it where a little extortion, a little threats that were being made. So it became public. So, I mean, every Japanese person, every big company president has Yakuza ties, everybody. But it's not something you talk about, or it's not something you go to dinner and flaunt your Yakuza connection. So it's the problem is it became public, and the TV stations had to back off of it. So Pride lost their biggest sponsors, and it just destroyed the whole thing, you know, because of it being revealed only.
Yeah, it was interesting how it just all kind of slowly, but at the same time, all of a sudden, just lost popularity. You know, because of course Pride was the front runner, but there was Pancrase, Shooto, Deep, all these other promotions, but they still went and had events, right? Until to this day.
Yeah, they still have events, yeah, and they still have, like say, Deep still has their connections with the underworld, and everybody does. I mean, it's not something that, it's not like a big thing that if you tell somebody, oh yeah, Deep has some Yakuza connections, and people will be like, no, everyone knows it. Everyone knows it.
Yeah, it seems like a lot of countries in Asia, they have to have some kind of connection to like either the police or to the underworld or to the government or something to kind of push the regulations or whatever they're trying to do in that country, especially with fighting.
Even the police have Yakuza connections.
Yeah.
That's what's funny. You know, I guess in the Asian countries, it's a little bit different from the Western countries. Because if you go walk down Shinjuku, you probably see a car that drives around that you're pretty sure is a Yakuza guy. You probably see guys walking around that, oh, those are Yakuzas. But whenever do you walk through Vegas or walk through California and say, oh, that's a mafia dude? It's obsolete, man. I mean, if you know a mafia guy in the Western society, then you got a fucking problem. You know what I mean? But in Asia, it's common, man. I mean, it's common. You sit by one at one of the fights. You know, you run into one on the street at night drinking. You know, it's common. I mean, I think that's what it is. You know, of course they can get pretty aggro like the mafia, but the big range of what the Yakuza do is from really petty things, really small things. You know, if you get into trouble with the Yakuza, it's like it could range from them calling your company and annoying your boss to get you fired, to threats of your life, to even being killed. But I mean, my image of growing up in Hawaii, in America, in the Western society is if you get in trouble with the mafia, you better change your name, you better move house, you better get out of there. It's not like you can't tell the mafia, hey, fuck off, man. You know, you don't scare me. You know, I mean, you can't say, come to my house, come and get me. You know, it's like, fuck, you got to get the hell out. You got to hide yourself, you know?
Witness protection.
I think, yeah, it's super different, man. It's super different.
Yeah. I remember when I was in the States, like in my neighborhood, there was some Yakuza. There was a few from Japan. They were actually from Japan. They came over, and there was like different levels though. There was like the lower level guy, and then there was the higher level guy. And in a way, when you're around them, because I would run into them in the neighborhood, and you could tell who's higher and who's lower.
Yeah,
just
exactly.
By the way they look, the way they act,
the way they walk, the way they act towards each other. Yeah.
Yeah,
the body language, you can tell. Yeah.
Yeah, and you know, a lot of people have misconceptions of like the Yakuza. Like if you get your finger cut off, then you're like a OG in the Yakuza and all this stuff. Like I don't know, from my experiences with the Yakuza members, it's not really like that. Like
yeah, it's actually the bottom line. If you got a missing finger, that means you fucked up.
Yeah. that's what I found out, you know, eventually from those guys.
There's a you know, the fact that so from now, if you see someone missing their finger, there's two things. One, he fucked up.
Mm.
Two, the other interesting thing is that guy got some freaking balls. Because when you go and give the finger to your boss, nowadays it's not necessarily asked for anymore. It's more a voluntary thing to show that you're sorry. So if you do that, you have to do it yourself. So can you imagine doing that? Fuck,
No.
I don't know if I have enough balls to do that, you know. So one, they fucked up. Two, those guys that do that, man, got some freaking grit, man.
Yeah.
I mean, they got some balls, man. They cut off their own finger without the boss asking them. And this is doing it without knowing if the boss is actually going to forgive them.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if they fuck up and I'm not going to say sorry. I'm not going to pay you money. I'm going to give you the tip of my finger to show you I'm sorry. And the boss might say, get the fuck out of my office. I don't want your fucking finger. And he's missing a finger and I have to go through that. So it's really almost an honorable thing in a way. I mean, hard to say it because he's probably a fuck up if he's cutting his finger off. But that's a thing about the Yakuza, yeah, that's really different than the Mafia. I mean, I've never had direct association with Mafia, so I couldn't really say. But I think what's unusual about the Yakuza is that they have a real big honor-based system. Mm. I mean, not necessarily the younger guys would follow a lot of it, but the OG guys, they follow that honor-based system, you know. Yeah. So there's for me, I'm one of the few people that actually stand up to them and will tell them fuck off or beat up to one of them, but it's only probably because of that honor system they run, yeah. Mm. Because if I believe that I'm not disrespecting them, but I'm just standing up for what I believe is right and having honor in what I do. So far, I've been forgiven for stuff that I've done, you know. So I don't know if the Mafia's run that way. I mean, the way I grew up with knowing how scary the Mafia was is like, whether you're right or you have honor or what, if you tell them to fuck off, you're dead. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. Yeah, but Japan is a little different. Yeah, there'll be a little bit of insight into what's happening and why it's happening and why you did what you did. And so far in my situations, I've been forgiven. I've been forgiven because of the honor that I had in what I did, you know.
Do you feel lucky that you have been forgiven for the things that you have done?
Now, being a little smart and a little more mature, oh, hell yeah, I've been lucky. Mm. I mean, the stuff I did, you know, at the time when you're young, you know, like, you know, you don't give a fuck. I'm right. Fuck him. Come kill me. You know, that kind of stuff. I was game like that, you know. But right now I think about it, you think back and say, oh, I mean, it was honorable the way I did the things and why I did it. But it's like, don't go telling a Yakuza family to come kill you. You know what I mean? It's like, they can kill you. It's like, it's easy to kill you. You're just, so I'm just one person, you know. But, you know, so I do consider myself really lucky that the certain guys that I came across was guys that held honor on a high status in their priority list. So yeah, definitely I feel lucky.
You know, speaking about Mafia and, you know, the Yakuza, have you seen the news about Conor McGregor, like those rumors that are going around about him going to a bar, slapping one of the family members of a hitman for the Mafia, like the Irish Mafia? This is all alleged stuff, right? But I guess there's like a $900,000 hit on Conor McGregor. And then you've seen him in his car driving away saying,
come get me.
What do you think of that? Do you think?
I think it's real stupid, man. Straight up stupid. I mean, whether it happened or not, whether you did it or not, whether you had honor in doing it or not, you don't taunt them and tell them that you're playing with something that these guys live for. This is just taunting something that these guys need to carry their aura of fear and control in the town, in the work that they do. You don't go taunting these guys and tell them, come get me. Now that's not honorable.
Yeah.
I just believe that he thinks he just got too big for his britches. He thinks he's bigger than life, man. And unfortunately, it might take something like this to put him in his place and even make him obsolete. I don't know, you know. I mean, I tell my girlfriend that shit. I don't really know how disappointed I'd be if I wake up in the morning and see the news that Conor McGregor just got shot by the Irish Mafia. It's like, I almost feel like there's something that might actually be deserved. I mean, it's like, I wouldn't be like, oh, fuck, what the fuck? I would be like, holy shit. He got what was coming to him, you know?
Yeah, like you said, taunting people that are legit killers is not something you want to do, even if it's not even true. You know,
Yeah.
like the rumors are not even true. So, yeah, it's
Exactly. Yeah, that's why I never thought of that. The rumor it might be just be rumors, and he's actually taunting them, even if it's fake. It's almost like he's defacing them within the rumor.
exactly.
Yeah, yeah. I never thought of
It's
that.
dangerous game, like you said, dangerous game he's playing right now.
Yeah,
And
stupid.
yeah,
Stupid.
stupid. And
Yeah.
yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if I woke up one day and something happened to him. I would not be surprised at all. Plus, he's worth, you know, like $100 million, like they say. They could do all kinds of things to him. Who knows what could happen? Not even just to him. It could be to someone close to him. Who knows what can happen, right?
Yeah, yeah. It's like $100 million. That $100 million, try spending and enjoying it from your grave. You
Yeah.
better be careful.
So now going back to Japanese MMA. Now when the Japanese MMA was in their like downtime, when it wasn't very popular, you were there, you were experiencing it. What was the effects of that to the fighters?
Well, a lot of the fighters in Pride were because at the same time is when UFC bought over Pride.
Mm.
And UFC didn't do anything with the fighters, and they were pretty much, a lot of the fighters were in a standstill where they didn't have fights to fight, didn't have anything to do, and they were like getting desperate to do something. So the fighters were, how do you say that? Yeah, almost like put in a closet and kept food to rot. That's
Mm.
what I felt.
Who were some of the fighters you thought like their careers basically ended because of that, you know, that kind of controversy?
It ended. I don't think it ended, but it did pause to a point where I think they had a hard time getting back into it. You know, like you notice a lot of the Pride fighters went to UFC and didn't do well. Milk
Yeah.
Crow, Vanderlei. I mean, a lot of the guys who was really dominant in Pride didn't do well in the UFC. And I think a part of the reason for that was, people were saying it's because of the steroids and stuff. But at that time, USADA wasn't really doing a super thorough job with the steroids.
Mm.
So I think it was more just that time that they had where they couldn't become active, and they were actually put in the closet for a while.
When you see fighters like Vanderlei Silva and Fedor still fighting, you know, how do you feel about that?
For hats off to them, man. That's not something I wanted to do. And for me, fighting was just a way to become a stronger person, and I felt that I did. And it wasn't something that I enjoyed.
Mm.
For me, it was more stress than enjoyment because of my outlook on my fights. You know, like, I went in there it wasn't a sport. It was more a time in my life to test myself, to see how much heart and how much strength that I have in myself.
Mm.
And if it meant dying in the ring, I was willing to do that. And to think, to think of training for 3 months for a guy that you feel is going to kill you, and training as hard as you can, not to win the fight, but so you don't die. And then admitting in your heart that that day it might be your last day. And then having to slowly see that day come to. And on that day, that little square place with the ropes that you admit in your heart that you're going to die, you have to go there on your own power. You're not being dragged there. You got to go drive your car there. You got to wait in the room for the time that might be your last time. And then you got to walk towards that ring, knowing that you admit that you might die here and you're willing to die here. I mean, think about it, the amount of stress that you have, the amount of anxiety that's built up in you. I mean, it's definitely not something that I would want to do as long as, you know, Fedor and Vanderlei are doing. You know, it's something that, I mean, I got in, I learned what I learned, and as soon as I felt I got as much as I could through fighting and becoming a strong, building myself as a person, I was done.
The
Hats off
mental
to them, man.
the mental toll, like you just explained, of preparing for a fight, entering the fight, you know, like it must have been immense that you went
Yes.
through. And do you
Yeah.
feel like if you were younger, if you went back in time, would you would have had the same approach as you did?
I feel if I was younger and I was chose to fight, yes, I would.
Mm.
Because I wouldn't fight. I don't think fighting, getting into the ring was something that I did for money or for fame or for the belt. The whole basic reason why I got into fighting was because I felt it was somewhere that you could build yourself and strengthen your inner self
Mm.
more than you could in any other situation in life.
When you go back and look at the fights that you had, they're very violent fights, you know. And when you watch fights now, there's certain fights that are violent. You have those types of fighters like that probably have a similar approach that you have, and then you have guys that go in there and then just win, just get by.
Mm-hmm.
And when you see that, do you see that that's just becoming a sport, or do you see that as like guys are not really in there to fight?
It's a sport. I think it's not the fault of the fighters. I think it's just the movement of what MMA has become today.
Mm.
I mean, I can't stand there peacocking saying that I have more honor. I fought for honor. I fought for myself as a man. I didn't fight for money, titles, and fame. Because I can't say that because there was no money, titles, and fame back in our days. So, you know, like I say, I wouldn't fight for. I didn't fight for money. I couldn't. There wasn't money in the fight. I didn't fight for fame. I had no choice because you couldn't get famous fighting MMA back in my day. We were fighting for. We agreed to go in the ring. We agreed to put our lives on the line, knowing that we weren't going to get famous and we weren't going to make money. So who knows? I wouldn't honestly be able to tell you right now that if I was brought up in this day, that I wouldn't turn my style into a sporty style to win, to get belts, and to become famous. Maybe that material magnet might actually change me as a fighter and change my outlook. You know. So with that said, I'm totally happy. You know, some people look at me and say, "Oh, Enson, don't you wish you were fighting today? You know how much fight of the night you'd have? You know how much money you'd make?" And in a way, I look at that and say, "Oh yeah, that'd be cool getting your fight money, and then they coming and say, hey, you got $50,000 more," or going there and looking on the crowd and seeing Mike Tyson, Kevin Costner, you know, these guys that you watch in the movies watching you. I mean, that would be cool. But then, in a deeper sense, I'm super happy that I grew up when I did, because it made it easier for me to fight for honor. It made it easier for me to be a martial artist, not a sports person, not a entertainer like Conor is nowadays. Yeah, so I'm very happy that I was brought up in the time that I was brought up.
I think
It's different.
because of that, you're more etched in the history of MMA, you know, compared to a lot of the guys that are fighting now, where they're just another guy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
so too. Yeah.
yeah. I think that's more important in that aspect, where a lot of guys, they kind of shorten their careers nowadays, you know, fighting a certain style, and it's, you know, it's good for them at the moment, but then it's like, you know, you got to kind of smarten up as your career moves along. You can't not just go in there and just continue that way, because eventually, you know, your rope's going to end, right, in your career.
Yeah, it's a whole different outlook. Yeah, if you're looking as your final destination is this physical life here on Earth, then, you know, Conor McGregor got $100 million, and this is his final destination on earth. When he dies, it's over. And then fuck, he's super successful. But my outlook is that this is just the beginning stages of ultimate spirituality in life. You know, I believe the physical life is a short time that we spend compared to our spiritual life. The spiritual life is eternity. It goes on forever. And what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to build myself as a person so that when this physical life ends, my spiritual life will go on in a very, I like to say, like a very nice golden glow instead of a dull black cloud. You know, and I believe of course, Conor got 100 million. I mean, sometimes I think like, holy shit, what could I do with even 2 million, you know? But of course, I'm thinking in terms of this physical life that we're living here today, you know. And if you're talking about success in this physical life, fuck, Conor McGregor blows my ass away, you know. And I'm like a little pipsqueak compared to who he is. But if we're talking spirituality, I mean, look at what this guy's doing. He's jumping into Bellator cage, slapping referees and commissioners. He's getting in 2 bar fights within a month, and then getting into an altercation with big mafia figures, and then taunting them, telling them, come and get me. I mean, spiritually, that guy's, I mean, I got $100 million in spirituality compared to his almost, you know, barely scraping thousands, you know.
Do you think it could be drugs? Because I kind of suspicious about some of the like his behavior, because before he got the money and before he became this big, he didn't act like this at all. But now it's like, what's going on, you know?
You know, I've heard, you know, I can't honestly be able to give a good assessment on that because I haven't done any other drugs than, my heaviest drug is marijuana. I've never done any cocaine, ecstasy, anything else, you know, maybe marijuana and sleeping pills. That's my biggest 2 drugs that I've ever done. So I don't really know the exact effect and feeling that you have on, you know, so, I mean, maybe cocaine will make him more excited and more aggressive. But like Sarah just told me in here,
Hello.
She said that we talked about it a lot, but yeah, she just reminded me that you know, money and fame is actually like a drug. It can distort someone's calculations and judgment and what they feel is priorities in their life. Money and fame is a drug, so it is drugs. I don't know if it's cocaine or you know, ice, but definitely a drug. And the thing is money and fame.
For sure, it is something that's going on in his mind. Now, I saw that you posted something about champions, and you said that, remember, I forgot which UFC it was, the UFC in New York City, where all the champions lost. And you were talking about honorable champions. You know, the challengers beat the champions. And I want to talk about that. Like, how important is it to be an honorable champion? Because you talked about it earlier, but like for being actually a champion for the kids that are looking.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, for, you know, I think for me, as successful as I can be in life, my whole thing is about being able to help people. And if you're an honorable champion and you have kids that are growing up and going into life in the adolescent stage where they're facing ego, they're battling with their ego, they're battling with machoism, they're battling with bullies, they're battling with people, seeing situations that's happening. I think to show them the right way to be honorable, to be humble in victory as well as defeat, you know, that kind of stuff I think is so important and will help people in a better way than, I mean, look at the way Conor acts. Look at how Michael Bisping acts and swears and calls people and FUs everybody. I mean, I cringe looking at this little 12-year-old kid that his dream is to become an MMA fighter, and he looks at that and sees the best guys in the sport acting like punks and having no respect for their opponent or the substance that they're fighting for. I mean, that's not something I'd like to see, you know. I mean, like the New York one, you know, you got all these. It was so funny because we were sitting there and we when I sat and after all the upsets happened, we looked at each other, like me and Sarah looked at each other like, holy shit, all the shit talkers lost.
Yeah.
And it's like, wow. And then you look at the champions that became champions, it's like, I mean, super honorable people. You know, George St. Pierre, Rose Namajunas. I mean, all the people who won were like just such honorable people. You know, I think it's so important to have that because look at where this whole thing started. Martial arts. Yeah, it's about, you know, martial arts wasn't about just, you know, beating people up or becoming better. It was about spirituality, about being a better person, being able to control your emotions, being able to not only become the best in the sport, but it's also about being humble. Not being cocky. You know, I mean, it's a hard thing, man. You know, I mean, it's a hard thing for me to watch MMA. I mean, I'm super stoked. I mean, I'm a big fan now because I love to watch. I watch every UFC. And I'm happy to see what's going on with the sport. I mean, how big it is, because the bigger the sport is, guys like me who was there from the beginning, the bigger our name will always remain.
Yeah.
But then to see, I cringe at looking at, I mean, it's about calling the guy out. It's about calling the guy an asshole. It's about, you know, I mean, that back in the day, I mean, I think about all my other fights. It's like, I don't think I've had an opponent look at me and call me a motherfucker and tell me my family's shit or my country that I come from is a dirt bag place. You know, I mean, I don't remember any of that. And then I think, you know, when I'm standing there, I'm not trying to sell a fight. I'm just being who I am, and I'm thinking that this is my skills against his, and see who's got more heart. And I think to myself, if I had someone like Conor McGregor come up to me and start dissing me and dissing my country and dissing some things that I really feel important to my, you know, in my life, I really wouldn't know how I'd react. I mean, the fight's a fight, but the honor and the disrespect that he would throw at me, I almost feel like sometimes I'd say like, fuck the fight. The fight's gone. I'm done with the fight. This guy's going down right now, you know?
At the press conference,
And,
huh?
yeah, at the press conference. And if it doesn't and the fight's over, you know, for me, I don't sell fights. I don't say anything that I don't mean. And if my opponent were to say something to me, I'd take it in the same way. That he's not selling the fight. He's saying, I mean, I would actually say something at the press conference that I don't say shit to sell the fights. Everything you say to me, I'm taking personal. So, you know, like after the fight, when they shake hands and say stuff like, oh, yeah, we just had to sell the fight. Fuck that. That don't work for me. You don't tell me that after the fight. It's still personal, man. Like, you know how Ronda Rousey had this real big thing with Misha and they hated each other, and then after that, Ronda wouldn't shake Misha's hand.
Yeah.
I don't frown on Ronda for that at all, man. She was the type of fighter that everything she did wasn't for show. It was like down straight up honest, man. And after the fight, she still hated Misha, whether she beat him or not. And it's like, I don't want to shake your hand still yet. You know, that's cool, man.
It is cool. But on the flip side with Ronda, though, like when she lost, she disappeared. Like, what do you think of that? What do you think of that? Like, after all the shit she talked and all the things that she did when she was at the top, but when she fell, she just disappeared. Do you think that's kind of the wrong way to go?
It's unprofessional, but knowing, you know, looking back at Ronda Rousey, the way she acted, the things she did, the way she fought, the way she talked, she was real, man. She was real, and she really, I think it was the people around her that blew too much smoke up her ass that made her feel like she was invincible. I didn't think she was saying those kind of things because she tried to play herself out or she was being cocky. I think she really believed that. And I think looking at her, the way she disappeared, I feel like it's like that girl really got body slammed. I mean, for her herself, I think she just couldn't believe what just happened. That's what I think it was. You know, it wasn't like, of course, it was unprofessional, but I look at it and say, oh, that's how hard she fell, man. You know, the stuff she's saying, like she could possibly beat Cain Velasquez in a fight. You know, it's like, oh, come on. But I think she got on such a high that she really did believe that. And when she lost to Holly, it was really like I'm not that person I thought it was. And her bubble popped. I think that's what happened. So, you know, the fact that she disappeared, in a way, you can almost criticize her, saying it's unprofessional, you're showing weakness, you know. But in another way, you could prop her for being super straight up honest about it. You know what I mean? She could have gathered everything together for a 5-10 minutes, put out an interview with a place and pretend like everything's okay. But I think the reason why she disappeared for so long and she was gone for so long is she wasn't going to pretend. And that's how devastated she was about what happened to her, you know. I mean, I don't praise how she reacted to it, but I actually wouldn't really diss her for it too.
I never looked at it like that. Yeah, I never looked at it like that. Like what you just said is like, it's because she was so high and so confident in what she was doing that when her bubble bursted, it was like she was just being real of like who she is. She just had to hide. She cannot come out and just lie and say things that people want to hear and stuff.
Yeah, I think it was those two things, yeah. The high that she was on, how far she fell, and the way she carried herself of just being straight up honest about everything. You know, the fact that she says she could beat Kane in a fight, that's ludicrous. That's crazy. But you know what, man? She was just being honest. As much people would sit back and say, what a dumbass. How can she think she can beat Kane? She knew people were going to say that. But you know what? She came out because she really believed that. She really believed that she was that good that she possibly could beat Kane in an MMA fight. And that about, you know, that shows proof on how high she was. It was almost like a artificial high she was on. And the fact that she couldn't even come out, and as bad as she knew it would look that she disappears after losing, and how bad it would look as a weak person or a sore loser, she still didn't come out because why? Because it's her honesty and everything. She's not going to come out and be fake about, I'm okay, I'm good. You know, I think some fighters actually purposely do that. They go on and put out a statement just because they don't want to look like a weak fighter or taking the loss bad. Well, I think, you know, in a way, her honesty had more priority than her reputation.
Yeah,
and she was just straight up, fuck the media. Like, you know, like before her comeback, she had said no media.
Yeah.
I mean, how bad is that? But you know what? She said fuck the media because fuck you guys, you know.
Because they were talking mad shit. They were talking mad shit about her, right?
Yeah, exactly. Instead of, you know, being able to play the media, or you know, hey, the PR guy comes and says, hey, Kirana, you can't do that, man. You gotta have media. I mean, she's straight up, hey, fuck that. I don't want them. Fuck them. You know, it's like sometimes it's not the best decisions. Sometimes it's not the best thing for her reputation and her career, but flat out honest, man. I mean, that's the way I look at it. You know, I think maybe she does have a little bit of maturing to do. She has to get a little more mature, but flat out honest, man. You got to prop her for that, because whether she can, she will mature. But that flat out honesty, man, is something that some people just don't have, man. Yeah. You can appreciate that when you have all these fake fighters coming up now, talking shit and telling how much they hate the person, and then hugging them after the fight, saying, yeah, it was just to build up the fight. It's like, doesn't that kind of shoot it down for the fans? And I'm getting excited watching this shit talk because I'm thinking it's real. Yeah. And then now they hug each other after the fight and they're all friends. It's like, oh, that was all bullshit. Next time that happens, it's like, is that real or not? No. You know, it's like, I just believe that UFC fighters need to make a decision, man. You know, if you're in the WWE, your fights are skidded, your emotion, things aren't sore, but you're acting like it's sore. You're not mad, but you're acting like you're mad. Okay, press conference, you don't hate the guy, you act like you hate him, fine. That's the way it is. That's the momentum and the movement of pro wrestling. But if you're going in the ring and fighting for real, man, you're going in the ring and you really want to, you know, take this guy out before he hurts you. And it's a real thing. You're not skidding anything. You're not acting. You're not going to show pain if it's not painful. Don't do that in the press conference, man. Don't act like you hate the guy when you don't hate the guy. I mean, if you do hate the guy, fine. But if you don't act it. Don't play it up because you want more money. Don't play it up because you want to sell more tickets. I don't know. As I say that, I'm thinking to myself, why am I saying? Because now you need to play it up, because then there's more pay-per-view buys and you make more money. You know, it's like it's a really hard thing. I think
it's a thin line,
and I'm pretty happy. Yeah,
and what do you think
I was happy I didn't grow up in this.
Yeah, go ahead. What do you
I
think
just happy I
about
didn't grow up in this day and
yeah.
age.
What do you think
Go
about
ahead, go
like
ahead.
the Diaz brothers? You was talking about guys that are like they go in there and they're like, "Hey, what's up? Like you're my opponent. I hate you. You're in my weight division. I don't like you." Like they're real. Like after the fight, they're real. They, you know, they win, they lose. It doesn't matter to them. They, you know, they say what they say. They say what's on their mind. What do you think about those guys?
I love those guys, man. I love the Diaz brothers. They're so straight up honest, man. It's like, I mean, again, like so something like Ronda, you know, sometimes the things they do and the things they say isn't like the things that will give you popularity vote, but they're real, man. They don't give a fuck, you know. It's like, I don't like you, fuck you, man. It's like, or, or like, they don't think like, oh, if I say fuck you, I'm gonna look like a gangster, and I don't want to look like that because I teach kids in jiu-jitsu, so maybe I should. You know, they don't have no filter, man. And in a way, sometimes if you're a sponsor, you might back away from that because of the image. But if I'm as a someone that I want to look up to or someone that I want to respect or call my friend, man, those are the guys I want to call my friend. Straight up honest, man. If they don't like you, Nate's not gonna come and sit, or Nick's not gonna come and sit down and have a joint with you and say, hey, what's up, man? Nice to meet you. It's an honor to meet you. You know, they're not gonna say that kind of stuff. They're not gonna have a joint with you. They're gonna say, fuck off. We're gonna go over there, you know. So I think that's so much easier to deal with. With all the bullshit in the world, man, it's a breath of fresh air to see guys like the Diaz brothers.
Yeah, like Nate Diaz, he's like one of the only guys that would like call Dana White a bitch. You know, like on the, you know, that's you got to respect that. There's not
Although
many guys.
more than half the guys in the UFC want to say that, he's the only one that will. You got to respect that. I agree with you.
All right, now speaking of Ronda Rousey, now you got RIZIN in Japan, and you got the people are calling her the Japanese Ronda Rousey. I don't really like those phrases like you're the Korean or something, or you're the American. So I don't like that. But they're saying that King Reina that fights for RIZIN. What do you think of her abilities, her talent?
She's good, man. I think she's a type of fighter that picks things up really fast.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know about I don't yeah, like you said, I don't know. I don't even consider her like the next Ronda Rousey. Or I mean, there's no Ronda Rousey. There's only one Ronda Rousey is Ronda Rousey. You know? But as far as King Reign, I mean, not King Reina, Reina. You're not talking about King Reina.
King
The
Reina.
regular. Oh, King Reina. Not even. She's not that good. She's not like Ronda. Ronda was dominant. King Reina wasn't dominant. I thought she lost against the Tongan lady.
Yeah, the
That
last
was the
fight.
Tongan lady one. Yeah, she lost that. It's ridiculous that they gave her the win. She lost that fight. And I believe in a matter of time she's going to lose. They're going to show her a lot of holes that she has in her game. And I don't know her personally, but I'm so me and my girlfriend's trying to figure out if that persona that she carries about being a arrogant bitch,
Mm-hmm.
if is that real or is that just an act? I don't know. Is that how she really is? If you go to dinner with her or you hang out with her, is she gonna be a bitch the whole time, or is that just an act to sell the thing? I don't know, but I don't think she's good. I don't think she's as good as they're trying to make her sound like she's good. You know, I think she's not really fighting true real fighters, you know, yet.
So now you said Reina also. Reina is probably the number one woman, or you know, in the top 5 in Japan and maybe around the world at her weight division. What do you think of her skills? Because she's just destroying girls.
Well, okay, she's good. She's super good. I agree. 'Cause her standing, her composure in the ring, and the way she picks up the ground so fast, she's good. But I wouldn't say she's one of the top in the world at her weight class now. I think she's good, and in a matter of time, she will be that good. But I think she's still green on the ground yet. I think she needs to have more experience. And I think the way RIZIN is bringing her up, giving her people that she is not over her head yet, is really good for her. I mean, put her in the UFC with one of the UFC fighters, I don't think she'll win. I
Oh,
don't
so
think she's at that caliber yet.
all right. She's still
Like, what
young,
is her
so
weight class?
atom weight.
Strawweight is who? Atom weight. Oh, there's no UFC. Well, in that case, if you compare the best atom weights in the world, like say Angela Lee, I think that'd be a good fight.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think
it is.
Angela Lee and her. Angela, I think ground is a lot better than Reina, but Reina's ground defense might be good enough. But I think Reina's standing is a lot better than Angela's standing. So it'd be a real nice clash of styles. You know, like who's gonna keep it in their turf, in their territory. I think that'd be I'd pay to watch Reina and Angela Lee, man.
What do you? Angela Lee's also from Hawaii. Have you trained with her? Have you been? Have you been around her?
No, but she came by to see me when we made her some bracelets, her and her family, and she came by and I mean, we're friends in that sense.
Mm-hmm.
I never hung out or went to dinner or anything or really even met the family. I mean, I met Christian and Angela, but my take on her is just a super real honest, down to earth girl.
Mm-hmm.
And she's super young, and I think she's going to get a lot better than she is too. She's just going like almost like kind of like Reina. She's like going up. I mean, it's amazing to see how good she's actually going to be. I'm interested. Yeah. I don't think like like the UFC, the weight above. So she's talking about going up to weight above.
Mm-hmm.
It'd be interesting to see her fight, but I think in a matter of time, I don't know if I could really say that she's at that level yet, but in a matter of time, she could be one of the best in the world. So
she's definitely a superstar already. She's probably the biggest star that one championship has. Skill wise, I agree with you. She's not at the highest level yet, but she's a superstar, so she has the fame. So now she just got to bring her level of skill in the cage to that point, and it'll be interesting to watch her.
You know what's awesome about Angela is she's classy.
Mm-hmm.
She doesn't disrespect people. She's super classy. She's willing to fight whoever, and when she fights, she goes to fight to finish. She's not fighting to be safe. She's willing to stand in there and trade with people. She's willing to go to the ground with a jiu-jitsu girl and mix on the ground. Mm-hmm. And her aggressiveness and the way she's such a sweet girl, but when she's mounted you, man, she'll elbow your face till it dents in. I love that about her. All those aspects about her is what's super awesome and makes her as the superstar that she is.
Yeah. Now going back to RIZIN, RIZIN has so many guys, like the young generation, right? There's like the young generation with like Horiguchi and Tenshin. You got Yachi. Now, I want to talk about Yachi. I love Yachi. Yachi is one of my favorite Japanese fighters out there. I've been watching him since before RIZIN ever even was,
Yeah, before Shooto and stuff, yeah.
Yeah, and he has come a long way, and now he's matched up against Gomi. Now, to me, I don't really like that matchup. I don't really see why they would put that fight together. But then somebody that's in Japan, told me like, hey, in Japan it's different. They need the story of the older guy that was the champion to come in and fight the younger guys, to build up the younger guys. But I feel that this is kind of like you're putting a lamb out to slaughter, because if you watched Gomi the past few years, he hasn't been the same at all. What is your thoughts on that?
Yeah, when I saw that fight, I don't necessarily like that fight. I thought maybe it might be a good time for Gomi to start thinking of retirement.
Mm-hmm.
To fight a fighter like Yachi that's on a real super high right now.
Yeah.
For Gomi's sake, I don't think it's a good fight. I don't think there's either fighter. I don't think. I mean, for Yachi, I don't think it's a win situation either. If he beats Gomi, he should beat Gomi. If he doesn't beat Gomi, say, okay, is he for real now? You know what I mean? But I think from what I hear from Sakakibara's post,
mm-hmm.
the reason why that fight happened is back before Gomi was starting to lose, they wanted to see that fight, and Yachi's been wanting to fight Gomi.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that was the main basis of actually trying to get this fight together. And the fact that Gomi was game to fight Yachi, I think that's what actually put it together. So I think it was more of one of those fights that they've always wanted to see. You know, like for me, I've always wanted to fight Vanderlei. And if something happened, it's not going to happen, but if something happened where I were to fight Vanderlei in the next Rising, I think the fans would want to see that, but it's really not a fight that should even happen anymore. I'm not even in that shape anymore. It's not, I'm not the same person anymore. But it's one of those things that back in the day, that would have been something to see, you know, when Gomi was, you know, still on a high and Yachi was this up and coming, beating people up in Shooto. I mean, that was like a good fight to see. And I think Sakakibara had that in his head. And I think it is still, Gomi still has that one punch chance. So I think it's still something that might interest people. Yeah, I agree with you though. I don't like that fight either. And I mean, I like Gomi and I like his legacy, and I hate to see it start disintegrating like it is. You know, already the last couple of fights that he's lost made him, he's like, wow, that's not Gomi, you know. And then now he's going to fight this freaking monster now.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, oh, man, I don't know if I say Gomi can, I mean, I don't think, like, Gomi, I want to see Gomi win. I more don't want to see Gomi go out, like, withering like a wilted flower, you know.
Yeah, I completely understand what you're saying. Gomi is a legend of the sport, but the newer generation, people watching the sport right now, they have no idea who Gomi is. Maybe in Japan they do, but around the world that people are watching, especially the UFC when he fought the last few years there, they just think of him as some Japanese guy that lost a bunch of times. And that kind of
it's not that
sucks.
good. Yeah, it does.
It sucks for him. It sucks for the fans that have been watching Pride since the beginning, you know, watching MMA since the beginning. You were there since the beginning. You were there in 1995. Like, that's
true.
craziness. You know, like,
yeah.
I was in 1995, I was in middle school watching the UFCs, and I didn't even know that was even going on in Japan yet at that time. So you were doing it before people even knew what it was, even if it was before it was cool. So, you know, watching those guys fight is crazy. But now with RIZIN, like, who do you see winning the women's bantamweight or women's atomweight tournament this New Year's Eve?
Reina. Is that the one she's in? She's in it, yeah?
Yeah.
Lena. Yeah, I see her winning it.
She's just the front runner.
Oh yeah, she's training at Abe's place, yeah, Abe Ani.
Mm-hmm.
And those guys got good wrestling and good I mean, that's a scary thing to teach a good striker is good wrestling. And Abe is a totally good wrestler, good wrestling coach. And he's a full-fledged Shooto fighter. So he's very versed on the ground. So, I mean, that's a real good place for Reina to be training. So I see her winning, and I see her getting better and better. It's scary to think how good she's going to be in a couple of years.
What about the bantamweight tournament, the men's bantamweight? Who do you see taking that one?
Who's in it?
Horiguchi, Ishiwatari.
I don't think anyone's going to touch Horiguchi.
Do you think he's the best in Japan?
Yes. Isn't that amazing? He's like the best in Japan, but did you see what Mighty Mouse did to him?
Yeah.
That's how good Mighty Mouse is, man.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Yeah, he's a once in a lifetime. He's a once in a lifetime talent.
Oh, Ian McCall's in that.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh shit, I gotta go with Ian, man. I might be biased here because I'm personal friends with Ian, but I gotta go with him because not just me being a friend of his, the fact that who did he fight? Mighty Mouse, yeah? He fought Mighty Mouse before. And
twice.
And it was a super close fight with Mighty Mouse, right?
Yeah.
And of course, you have that argument that maybe Mighty Mouse has gotten better since then and everything, but the fact that he's put Mighty Mouse to his, like, brought him out to the wire, and to see how Mighty Mouse just destroyed Horiguchi, and he's my friend, I gotta say Ian, man. Oh shit, that's right. He's in that. Ooh, that's exciting. I've already got tickets for that too. I'm looking forward to going to that.
Now, what is your involvement with RIZIN? Are you involved in any way with them?
Nope. I'm involved where Takaki Bada gives me 5 tickets for every event.
That's a good
That's
involvement.
as much as I'm involved. No, but see, the thing is I really do want to offer. I offered myself to him already that if he needs any help, I'm not talking about getting a job and making money and paying me shit. I'm just straight up. Oh, if you need help with the English guys, you know, talking to them, or any help in anything, I'm willing to help. But he hasn't asked me to do anything. The most he's asked me to do is if I could put the posters up in my gym or places that I know. And he's asked me to, you know, share it on my social media. That's it. I mean, I'm offering my help to whatever, you know, even commentating whatever he needs, and he hasn't taken me up on anything. And I just feel like I don't know what it is. I'm confused.
Hey, I think you would be great if they put you on the commentating.
Said he would not want any of my help. So I'm thinking now, okay.
What are you thinking?
Yeah, so I'm trying to figure out what the reasoning is. And I'm thinking, okay, there's 3 reasons that it could be. 1, he might be just scared shitless of fucking up and me getting mad at him. 2, he knows I really dislike Takada. So maybe he wants to avoid a confrontation with me and Takada. 3, there's a history in my personal life that I was married to Miyu before. And the fact that she's a big player in the rising with, of course, her son Erson that I raised until he was 7. And we have no contact with each other at all now. Maybe that awkwardness he wants to, I don't know. It's one of those 3, man. There's a reason why he's not accepting anything that I'm offering. I mean, I'm getting 5 tickets. And I'm grateful for that, but I'm more grateful for the fact that he's bringing back the life of MMA in Japan. And I'd like to, you know, I don't want to really be a part of it, but I'd like to help him in any way I can to create a movement that I'm really for, and I really am grateful that he's doing.
Yeah.
But man, it's like, nope. We'll send you 5 tickets. All good. Just can you share this for me? Like, yeah, but if you need any other help, let me know. No call, nothing. Man, it's like, I mean, it's cool, you know. That means she doesn't need my help. That's cool, but it's like, in some points, I can see where I could actually help them out, and it's like it baffles me. What's going on?
I think that they should put you on the English commentary team. I don't see anybody else that could do a good job. So recently, it's been being criticized a lot. The guys that
really?
Yeah, a lot. Like every team that they put up for the commentary, for English commentary, people have been just talking crazy shit about what they're like. The guy was saying the name wrong. The whole broadcast, he's saying RIZIN. The whole broadcast.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, that's bad. You know what another thing is that I wanted to bring to light, which is real interesting, is he asked me from his side that if you have any recommendations of good fighters. And I must have given him like 4 or 5 names that are really good fighters. One that I can remember is Erin Tohill. She wanted to fight, so I threw the name out to them, gave her profile, everything, and she'd be like a good prospect for Gabby. And she's a big girl, strong girl, boxer, fought Layla Ali before. And they had no, I mean, he gave me that. She's good looking. Oh, she might be good. And I guess apparently they haven't called her yet. Another one is Frank Camacho. You know Frank Camacho from the from Saipan?
Yeah, he's in the UFC right now.
Hell yeah, and look at what he's doing. He's an awesome fighter. He's putting on a show. He fights with heart.
Yeah. That's
something that exactly what the Japanese would have loved.
Yeah.
And I must have gave him Frank Camacho's name about a year ago, man. I said, this is definitely, you guys might want to have this guy. Gave him Frank's profile, his data, everything. Nothing. So I almost feel like, wow, man, am I like somebody that they're so scared of that they want nothing to do with? let's keep him happy and just give him tickets. You know, I mean, that's what I feel, man. I mean, they've seen. I've had a good relationship with Saka Kibata, totally, from the beginning to now. We've had a good relationship, but he's seen things that's happened around us. Mm. He's seen things that I've done back in the day when I was, you know, I was more of a thug. Mm. He's seen things that I've done, and maybe he's afraid of that. I don't know what it is. I don't know, dude. I can't figure it out, man. I can't figure out. They won't take any of my help. They won't put up any. They won't even call or contact any of the fight. I'm almost feeling like people send me stuff saying that they want to fight in Japan, and I'm almost thinking like, well, I shouldn't recommend you because it sounds like whoever I recommend, nobody touches. So, you know, I don't know, man. I don't get it. I mean, I wish I knew the answer to why. I'm almost like they want to keep me happy, and they want to pet me on the head and make me happy and make me feel good, scratch the back of my ear, but then that's it. Don't get any more involved with him. Give him 5 tickets, keep him happy. That's it. Don't be careful. You know, I don't know what it is, man, honestly.
It could possibly be, you know. Your reputation lasts for a long time, right?
I guess. And maybe, I don't know, maybe it's just showing that they're sketchy people. That they plan to do sketchy shit, and they're like, we can't do sketchy shit to Enson because he'll come and try and take down our world, so we won't do it. So let's not have anything, because we're sketchy people and we don't want to piss off Enson. You know, it's like, man, I mean, I don't know. It's baffling to me.
Yeah, it's possible. You never know what people are doing, you know, behind closed doors.
Yeah, really, yeah.
Yeah. What do you think about the Gabby Garcia and the grandmother matchup that they put together?
Stupid. It's so stupid. That girl Kondori is worse of a fighter than Yumiko Hota, the one who fought Gabby last.
Oh my God.
They're saying that Kondori beat Hota, but I've trained with both those girls back in the day, way back in the day when MMA, you know, when they had those where Marlos Kunen won the I forget what it's called, but there was a women's MMA event like 20 something years ago, and they fought in that. No, it was what was that called? Wait, I have Sarah look it up for me, but it was back in the day, and Marlos Kunen won everything.
Yeah,
but they came to my Shooto gym to train for that, and Kondori had no fighting. She had judo base, but she wasn't really that good. But Yumiko Hota had more of a well-rounded striking ground type of game. Remix. You ever heard of that? You were probably a dirty thought in your father's head that time. Oh, year 2000. I'm sorry, you're not that young. But it's called Remix. That's where I think Marlos Kunen won the whole thing. But they came and trained at my gym at that time for that fight, and Yumiko Hota was a lot better than Kondori. So,
do you think this matchup that matchup with Gabby Garcia and Kondori, do you think that kind of like, you know, of course Japan has their own way of doing things, promoting fights and putting together fights, and you know, Pride had some of those types of fights before, but nowadays it's a different market. You know, and if you want to be bigger in the world, do you not put those fights together?
It's a Japan thing, I think. I mean, I think they're stepping over the line on this one, but I think it's still a Japan thing, that little circus effect. Mm-hmm. But the thing I feel the worst about is I feel bad for Gabby, man. Gabby seriously wants to be a martial artist and fight. She wants to fight tough opponents. Mm-hmm. I believe that. Gabby's training hard. I mean, see her training with Cyborg. I mean, Gabby's in there. I mean, she's a competitor and she wants to fight. And they're giving her all these people that really aren't fighters. They're giving her pro wrestler. They're giving her people that. In fact, I think she fought all pro wrestlers so far. Besides that first girl that was a kickboxer but way smaller and had no ground. They're giving. I mean, I think they love Gabby's, you know, she's scary, she's huge, I mean, she's like a almost like a freak show. She's so big, and I think they want to try and promote that as much as possible. And they're just giving her like people that aren't really fighters, and it's sad because in the past I've been seeing Gabby wanting to test herself. She wants real fights, and they're just keep feeding her all this bullshit, man. I mean, is it already it's a set fight and Gabby's already accepted that fight? Because I know she was really disappointed that the first time they tried to make her fight that girl, and
Yeah,
I almost see her possibly, since she doesn't want to do that fight. I mean, it's a horrible thing. I mean, it's a horrible thing for MMA in itself, but it's like more of a travesty for Gabby, man. I feel sorry for her, man.
Yeah, there's a lot of girls out there right now in her weight class or around her weight class that have been calling Gabby out and that will go to Japan and fight her, but they have not picked up any of those girls and matched her up with any of them because I don't know what reason that is. Yeah, but they did announce the fight against Gabby against Kondori, but I don't know. It's Gabby doesn't
I
seem.
wonder why. I mean, maybe.
What's up?
Well, I know what the reason probably is. One, those girls probably aren't famous enough to have a name in Japan.
Mm-hmm.
Whether they're famous out of Japan or not, the fame in Japan is in there. And there might be a girl that could possibly beat Gabby, and they don't want that. That Gabby's their little ticket right now for tickets.
That's true. They gotta sell tickets.
But I think, but it's sad, man, because Gabby wants to help them sell tickets, but I think Gabby's also on another, little, what is that, mission in her own world that she wants to become a good fighter and she wants to test herself in the ring, and they're not allowing Gabby to do that. Yeah,
they're not, because putting those freak show fights together is not helping anybody at all. I don't want to see it, and I don't know if the world wants to really see that either. But that's what gets the news. That's what the media latches onto all the time. It seems like. So
you know what Gabby's got to do? Gabby's got to put a real beating on this girl. She's got to get on this girl and beat the shit out of this 50-year-old lady and just make her regret going into the ring. That's what Gabby's got to do.
Now, I know you're busy. You're telling me that you're gonna be leaving soon. What is your plans for the rest of the year? What do you usually do? Are you doing seminars and are you training over in the States, or what are you really doing over there?
No, I'm gonna go to Hawaii, because I have a shop that I set up every so often in Hawaii. So I go to there's a hotel in Hawaii, the Hilton Waikiki Beach Hotel, that I go to, and they give me a room, and that's where I sell my Power Stone bracelets.
Yeah, beautiful.
So I make these. I sell these bracelets. So that's what I'm actually going to Hawaii for.
Then you going?
And you know why I'm going to Vegas? I'm going to Vegas to do what everyone does in
Vegas. To have some fun.
Yeah.
All right, Enson, thank you for your time, and hopefully I could have you back on and talk more about other things, because I know you have a lot of things that you can talk about, a lot of interesting stories I would like to listen to. So take care, and thank you very much.
All right, you keep in touch, and anytime you want me on, let me know, man. We'll hook up. We'll find out a good time and a good day, and anytime, buddy.
All right, thank you.
Okay, take it easy, man.